Okay, it looks like we're ready to start now. So thanks for joining us today. It's a little bit of housekeeping before we start. The webinar should be around 30 minutes, and then we've allowed 10 minutes for Q&A. So if you do want to ask a question, there's a section on the GoToMeeting panel that allow you to type your question, and we'll cover those at the end in a batch. So over to introductions. So I'm Chris Gray, a Consulting Director at Agile Solutions, and we've got Ajay Khanna, a VP of Marketing from Reltio. And so today we're going to talk you through how modern data management is delivering business benefits.
Thank you so much, Chris. Hello, everyone. This is Ajay here. And as we start with discussing the modern data management and the business benefits, I want to start with some of the digital transformation initiatives that we see across industries. First and foremost is the customer experience. So when we speak to our customers, a lot of them are working towards delivering that personalized, that hyper-personalized customer experience, that connected customer experience across all the channels. And the leading organizations are talking about segment of one where they can offer very personalized, very contextual information as well as offers to their customers. So understanding the customers is the key. New business models, new revenue models. A lot of companies are trying to become Uber or Airbnb of their industries. And this is not just in retail or services. We see change in business models in healthcare and life sciences as well, where there are new models emerging like a pay for performance, where the either pharma company or the healthcare provider is only is only paid once there are positive health outcomes. So there are new models emerging. Regulatory compliance, things like General Data Protection Regulation (GDPR), or in banking like Know Your Customers, and there are a bunch of other regulations in healthcare and life sciences around reporting, around expenses. So a lot of initiatives that we see across various companies, across various industries are geared towards meeting these new regulatory requirements across managing the customer data or managing the supplier data, so on and so forth. And then there are initiatives around global harmonization of data. How can we kind of bring data together so that there is consistent data available across the functional groups, across our business units? And how can we have this reliable data foundation that we can exchange with our partners, with our suppliers, and even some of the CDOs have been given this mandate that how can they monetize their data. So all of these initiatives and such initiatives require proper data organization and having these data-led, data-driven digital transformation initiatives. And in the following slides, we will see how a modern data management platform can help you organize that data and derive those business outcomes.
So Ajay has just spoken about digital transformation. A lot of companies talk about being data-driven or having that aspiration. And having trusted data is at the core of this. And so data management projects, including MDM, can give you this trusted data and provide a lot of value, from better customer experience, so things like having a single account access, having better conversations with your customers, to enabling more informed decisions and potentially giving you a competitive advantage. However, MBM programs in particular have gained a reputation for being complex and taking a long time to implement. So modern data management is about taking advantage of changes in technology to help address this.
That's right, Chris. So when we talk about modern data management, at core, it has the capabilities and the foundation of master data management of creating those consolidated, reliable profiles of any kind of data entity, whether it is a customer or it's a product or an asset or a supplier. But where it goes beyond the master data management is when you bring in newer technologies like graph, where you can find relationships between these data entities, just like LinkedIn, relationship across people to people, people to products and organizations, and location, and so on and so forth. And then using advanced analytics, machine learning, to learn more about their data, to get better insights and recommendation to improve the data quality. And again, the value of data is in its usage, right? You need to kind of make data work for your organization, and that happens when you deliver these data-driven applications to the business users where they can interact with data, where they can visualize the data and make decisions. So that data-driven application is like core part of these modern data management platform. And the last but not least is about workflow and collaboration, which not only helps you manage your regulatory compliance processes like GDPR, but also helps you with an ongoing maintenance of the data, upkeep of the data with these kind of collaborative curation capabilities around your data.
Yeah, I think it's important as well to remember that MDM is a technology-enabled discipline in which the business and IT work together. And so as part of that, we shouldn't lose sight of the business goals of the program. So keeping the ROI and the metrics of the business case at the front of your mind is key to success. So for example, a customer of ours had data in multiple systems and wanted MDM to enable them to have a single view of customer. And partly that was to allow them to have more efficient and better conversations with their customers. So to give you an example of metrics around that, it potentially would be around uplift of online marketing conversion by a certain percentage and an increase in the conversion rate for direct sales. I think governance as well remains important, and assessing the current maturity and agreeing a roadmap should be one of the first steps of any MDM program, regardless of the technology. I think Reltio's platform aims to allow for less time to be spent on the technology configuration and more on working with the business to understand the data and ensuring good governance practices are adopted. So in the next few slides, we'll talk through the technology benefits of the platform, which in combination with an agile delivery approach can help you get to value faster while still ensuring the focus remains on the business objectives.
Yes, so now jumping into some of the core kind of capabilities or even functionality of a modern data management. So as I mentioned, that at core it is master data management capabilities that it provides, which basically means is that it allows you to connect to your internal, external, and third-party data sources, which could be your CRM systems, your ERP, your order management, expense reporting systems, and you may also be enriching your data with third-party data sources like Dun & Bradstreet data or LexisNexis data, and there are many other industry-specific and consumer-specific data sources that you want to bring in and then create richer profiles of those data entities. So what it allows you to do is bring all the data together and match the records across all these data sources and pull in all the attributes across all the sources to create those golden records or those entities which have consolidated, reliable, dedupe, and cleans data available. So that is the whole aspect of matching and merging of records. And then you want to always maintain the data lineage to see where the particular attribute value is coming from, and helps you with governance as well as reporting purposes. So this is kind of like one of the use cases around consumers or even bringing the product data together. So we have customers who are bringing all their consumer or B2B customer profiles together. The example I'm using here is around used car retailer where they wanted to bring their data together from like 155 store systems to create that consolidated consumer profile to understand their buying behavior, what kind of products do they have, and then putting that information back to the point of sale systems where their dealerships and the people in the dealership can get access to consistent, reliable customer data across all the dealerships. So that is kind of like bringing all the data together to create those reliable profiles while maintaining the data lineage.
I think graph technology allows for a different way of thinking and looking at your data, and it can be more intuitive. So instead of looking at entities in a relational database, you're focusing on the connections between your data, which can bring new insights. And so relationships become as important as individual data points.
Yeah, that's a really interesting aspect of modern data management. So it is not just about creating and managing profiles, right? It is to understand the relationships across the profiles, like which customer buys which product from which store, or which product is provided by which particular supplier. And all those relationships, just like LinkedIn or Facebook, are kind of uncovered using the graph technology. And then when you have to create these 360 view of your customer or for the product, then you need to bring in even more data, right? You need to bring in transactional data. You may want to bring in reference data. So this kind of multi-model data management approach or polyglot data management approach helps you not only kind of create these master profiles, but understand the relationships across all those data entities, as well as correlated transactional information, so that you can get that true 360 view about that data entity. It could be a consumer, it could be a supplier, or it could be any kind of B2B customer. And some of the examples we see out there, for example, a large pharma, they are doing affiliation management. Use case or application where they want to understand which particular physician is affiliated with which particular hospital organization, or training hospitals or other educational institutions, or professional organizations, to understand that affiliations. And then we have retailers who are using the graph technology to understand the household, that this particular person belong to this particular household. These are the other family members in the household, and what is the overall value of that household. So understanding the relationship is also as critical as understanding just the demographics and complete profile of a data entity. And then once we have the master data in place, and we have the correlated transactional information and the understanding of the relationship across all these data entities, now we can take all this information and get further insights from that data. So these insights, using advanced analytics or machine learning capabilities, can be business insights like next best action or collaborative filtering, which tells you that people like you also bought this, the things that you will see in like the likes of Amazon or Netflix kind of services, or even prompting your salespeople or marketing people around what should be the next best action around customer engagement, that where they are in their journey, and what should be the next offer, and what time, using what channel you should make. So those kind of things become possible because you have nicely organized data. It is clean data with interaction information which can be used for these insights. And beyond that, using machine learning to improve the data quality, to improve the matching of your data, to improve the profiles and understanding the profiles. What is the data quality scores of this particular profile? What is the business value or rank of this profile? So all that information is uncovered and presented to the business users in form of relevant insights as well as recommended actions, using advanced analytics and machine learning as which is part of the modern data management platform. And we see use cases around data quality improvement, as well as the one I mentioned here is in life sciences, where a particular pharma company is using such kind of intelligence to prevent discount drug program frauds, which is in the United States, it's called 340B regulation, but it is to see that certain organizations or certain people are not taking or using this fraudulently, this discount drug programs.
Yeah, I think one of the goals of any MDM implementation is to not only be able to trust your data, but also understand it better. And the features that Ajay's just mentioned allow the business to get insights that perhaps they wouldn't have had access to previously. And in particular, the next recommended next best action, as Ajay said, is machine learning algorithms that you or your delivery partner can implement to give you domain-specific insight to your data and help your team make more informed decisions to help both your customers and your business. And likewise, the DQ rank helps your users to have confidence in the system and know which data and profiles they can trust when they are making decisions about what to do next.
And then now coming on to the collaboration aspect. So there are like you are seeing like few screens here, and the first one is more about putting together structured processes, very similar to business process management, where you create your process workflows, and especially around regulations such as GDPR, where you are putting processes in place for your meeting consumer rights to access the data, or making data change requests, or making requests for data deletion. So those processes can be designed and executed within the platform. The right tasks go to your data stewards, or people who need to review and approve those data changes, and then those data changes are persisted within the system. And these processes can be initiated by people who are outside your organizations, or even mobile workforce like field service agents or medical reps who are going out there and meeting the customers at their location, and then they see that some phone number has changed, or address has changed, or contact has changed. They want to make those data change requests. So those can be easily propagated back to the data stewards and data owners, so that you can maintain the data quality on an ongoing basis. And then when the business users are working with the data, they may also want to collaborate with each other, right? I mean, the sales people may want to collaborate with their account managers. What should be the right account strategy? Who is the right person to speak with? What is the right product that they need to offer for this particular client? And those kind of discussion threads and collaboration capabilities are part of these data-driven applications. And then capabilities like voting to kind of indicate a strength of a particular record, or a strength of a particular physician in a hospital, or a customer contact within an account. Those are available so that you can enrich that data and make sure that data is clean on an ongoing basis. So these capabilities are really important for regulation compliance, as well as for the regular upkeep of the data.
Yeah, and I think it's good to kind of touch on that point there. And without effective governance, an MDM program, it isn't set up to succeed. So all MDM programs should start with an assessment of the current maturity and an agreement on the future state. And a change management plan needs to be put in place alongside this to ensure you get there. And information governance is really about setting decision rights and creating an accountability framework. And this framework is essential to make sure we establish clear responsibility and authority, and also accountability of the data in which these business processes are going to be dependent. So numerous stakeholders have a vital role in master data governance. And they're accountable for ensuring that master data is trusted, consistent, and available. And this includes the formal process of stewardship, which Azesh just touched on there. And stewardship should really be carried out by the front of line business, who thoroughly understand both the business processes and the data on which those processes depend. And again, I guess this is another illustration why the MDM program should be a collaboration between IT and the business.
And now the fifth benefit that we want to talk about are delivering the actual business value. So our perspective around data and data management is that it shouldn't be just sitting in the infrastructure, and bringing back that whole idea of that, making sure that data is utilized the way it is supposed to be utilized. It is not just about mastering and collecting the data, but delivering that data to business users so that they can actually make decisions, right? So this whole aspect of data-driven application, which brings all this information together, bring all the insights that we have garnered from our data, and the relationships that we have uncovered, the interactions that we have detected, to kind of bring everything together and then present to the business users with the right profile information, with the intelligent recommendations, with the contextual insights, and the understanding of relationships to the business users. And these applications are contextual. So it is not the same customer data, or the same product data, or the same supplier data available to everyone. It is delivered in context of their business usage. So when we are bringing the data together, it is kind of a logical merge, and then you can create multiple viewpoints of that information, so that the sales people, or marketing people, field service, compliance, or people sitting in call centers on agent desktops, they get their own view of the data which is relevant to them for them, which is appropriate, which has the proper access control, and allows them to make business decisions. And then we have many examples where these kind of applications are used. For example, in this golf club operators who kind of brought all their consumer data together across different acquisitions and different clubs, so that they can launch a kind of consolidated loyalty and customer entitlement program, and then deliver this nice personalized experience to their customers for even for their tea time reservations, and kind of using those points for some more extra credits, and kind of delivering that kind of consistent experience across your properties, across your stores, across your business units is really critical. And then delivering these data-driven applications, very kind of consumer like applications to the business users as well as to your customers, where they can interact with this information easily, is really critical aspect of modern data management.
Yeah, there's a huge amount of information, excuse me, on the page that's displayed here. So it can all be built up slowly, and by taking an agile approach, you can work together with the business and show them progress at the end of each iteration or kind of 2-week cycle. So getting that feedback early means you can adapt and change to ensure the business priorities align with the projects. And it means you can focus on producing a version that the business are happy to go into production with, getting to value early, and then you can bring those extra features in later on. So there's a lot of things to consider when approaching an NDM implementation. So for the purpose of keeping it brief, we're going to assume there's internal sponsorship, a business case, good alignment with IT, and that a governance framework has been put in place. So this slide is really just about the delivery. And when it does come to delivery, we recommend deploying in increments, which is why we've been talking about the agile approach throughout this presentation. So there will be nuances in delivery. So depending on which implementation style you're going with, so whether that's analytical or operational. However, with either approach, we recommend a short discovery phase at the start, and this helps ensure that you and your delivery partner have a clear understanding of success. So as part of this, you typically cover a series of workshops on things like use cases, stewardship and matching requirements, data that's in scope, and so on. So one of the goals of this process is to agree and define the minimum viable product, or MVP. So you and the delivery team have a clear view of what they're aiming towards. So within an MDM program, a typical MVP might be configuration of the different environments, a number of match and merge rules with a couple of iterations of match tuning, 3 or 4 source systems, out-of-box screens, and perhaps some limited customization. And then this will be extended later to bring in perhaps further development of the screens, more data sources, or perhaps even some of the next specs actions, machine learning components. So that's just a typical MVP. It might not be what's important to you. And in the past, we've built MVPs that focus on the match and merge capability, and conversely, ones that are focused more on bringing in less systems initially, and much more on the screens and providing the right view of the data to the right people. And the key thing, I guess, really to take away from here is just ensure you're demoing back to the development every couple of weeks and refining the approach with the business so they get a platform that suits them, has the right data.
And now just taking a look at the whole aspect of modern data management in the cloud, and what are the kind of benefits that provides. There has been a lot of research around cloud economics, and we are not going to get into too much details. But the whole idea is that if you take specifically Reltio Cloud, the modern data management platform as a service, we are in multi-tenant cloud, and which basically means that all our customers are on our latest release. We do 3 releases a year. There are no upgrade costs or migration costs related to these upgrades, and then it provides with the whole layer of security that we kind of ensure across various instances, as well as making sure that our customers are not either underspending or over investing in the infrastructure cost. So that kind of fear is not there. You can always scale up and scale down with the cloud scalability and elasticity. You can use higher compute capacity or burst capacities during initial data loads, or if you have seasonal requirements, you can do that. So there are like a lot of these inherent benefits that it provides, as well as it gives you the right agility based on our whole data architecture, where you can add new data sources, you can add new attributes, you can bring new data in without recreating the data models or reloading the data. So that provides you with the agility and flexibility which the cloud infrastructure provides. And we are a multi-cloud platform. We run on Amazon Web Services as well as Google Cloud Platform, which also gives you a little bit flexibility around how you want to kind of manage your various data strategies, as well as your which includes your master data management as well as analytics side of the data, both operational and analytics side.
Yeah, I think as Ajay explains there, the cloud platform allows you to get started faster and flex when you need to. And this really lends itself to the agile approach. So build the requirements you have right now, and the platform will scale as your program develops, and I guess your subsequent requirements become clearer.
So just to kind of bring everything together, so what the whole approach and agile approach around modern data management means is to make data the heart of every decision, to bring data at the forefront of your decision making, and to do that, to organize that data of all types, structured, unstructured data from all different sources at a big data scale, so that it can deliver that business value. You unifies that data sets, understand the relationships, and deliver these personalized views to the business users, so that that data is usable. And then make sure that you are infusing analytics and those relevant insights and the recommendations within those data sets, and making those part of those master profiles and data-driven applications, and delivering to the business users in the context of their role. And then continuously learn about your customers, about your products and their relationships by maintaining the data quality, continuously improving the data quality, and continuously learning from your data to update your business processes as well as the customer experiences.
Okay, so that brings us to the end of the presentation. So thanks to those who've submitted questions. We've got the contact details at the end of this as well. I'm sure they're on the site. So if you think of anything after this webinar, yeah, please feel free to contact us. So we'll go through the questions just now. Okay. You mentioned a minimum viable product. What would be a typical timeline? So I suppose it really depends on the features you want, but also the size of the team. I suppose it's important to remember with any implementation, we'll need support from the business as well. So it's how much you could facilitate at once. So typically that could be a few months, but you could do a POC or more reduced MVP in a few weeks. Okay, how does Reltio manage hierarchies?
I can take that one. So we did discuss about the graph schema and the graph relationships. So if you see underneath, the hierarchies are the relationships, and we use the same graph technology to create these hierarchies, whether it is the business hierarchy or the product hierarchy, where you can understand your product penetrations. You can have various versions of the hierarchy. You may want to bring in the information from third-party data sources like legal hierarchies from Dun & Bradstreet, and visualize those in your applications. So so using that technology itself, we can create multiple versions, as well as create those temporal hierarchies which business people can use either to understand their products or their customers or product penetration, and even do the roll-ups to understand the risk or the value of a particular account. So that kind of allows us to manage these complex hierarchies in a very flexible manner.
Okay, thanks. Can a data steward be someone within IT? So I'll pick this one up. So So it should really be the people that know the data and the processes best. So the business have the best context of the data, so they'll be best placed to make those decisions. I think the role of IT in this is really to empower them to be able to manage their data effectively. Okay, so that's our last question. So that brings us to the end of this webinar. So thank you very much for joining. Have a great afternoon, and I'm going to close this session just now.
Thank you so much.